How you doing? This is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh. And you know, you got people online that twist the truth. The truth is out there, but like Scully said, the lie is out there too. And one of the big liars is the guy from that certain board, and I'm not even going to mention his name. Let's say it's low-flying unmanned aircraft. He's been posting crap all over that certain board about things I told him privately. About me, my girlfriend, other things. Well, I want to show you this. Because another poster on there, and she's got the name right, her last name is Bitch, says, I'm not from Pittsburgh, and I make it up. This is my birth certificate. County of birth, Allegheny. Then I don't print Pittsburgh on the birth certificates anymore. There's my birth date, all the information. Now this is the second copy of my birth certificate. I've got two of them because I couldn't find one. I'd order another one. But there is my certificate of birth. Allegheny County and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, not California, not the county of Contra Costa. So this is part of the thing here. Online, you almost have to do this. Trust no one. I went to school at Shenley High School. You can look it up. I went to school at an elementary school in Mount Oliver. I went to church schools that don't exist anymore. The churches don't exist anymore. I went to private schools in Pittsburgh. I went to Pitt for a year in a class for gifted students when I was a young child. They had a special program there. I took classes, drama classes, at the Pittsburgh Playhouse. That still exists. It's now part of a college. That was literally diagonally across the street from the hospital I was born in, McGee Hospital, and Joe Hammer Square, the street we lived on, with the S&B Delicatessen next door to the Chevy dealership, and across the street a Humble station, or it might have been Esso. Kind of hard to remember after 40 or 50 years. Joe Hammer Square and the Boulevard of the Allies, and right across the street the other way was a Gulf station. And you know, I got my Gulf clock there. And up the street on the edge of Shenley Park, by the Shenley Park double bridge leading to the Carnegie Library on one side and Carnegie Mellon University on the other. We lived on Parkview Avenue. And I was living there when I was a kid. We moved around a lot because my dad had the wanderlust. He'd get drunk and disappear. My mother had to go chasing after him because she had me with her. Lived in upstate New York, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Canada, Germany, California, Las Vegas, Lake Tahoe, Reno. But during the summer, my mother sent me to my sister's house in Mount Oliver. And in the wintertime, I went to school in Pittsburgh or in Mount Oliver. And I was at Forbes Field and Mazeroski hit the home run because I was a kid who got into places where I would never get into normally because I liked talking to people even then. I wound up in the press box, being very quiet, which is a switch for me, watching the game, what I could see over the overhang. Hold on. Hold on a minute. I'm doing a video. I'll ask you a question. This is Kathy on the phone. I'm going to put it on speaker. Now, I'm going to ask you this, carefully answer it. When I met you, because they're saying this crap too, there's only one reason I liked you, and that was because you had boobs. There was other reasons I liked you other than that, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know who that's coming from, don't you? Low-flying aircraft, or should I say low-flying idiot. So, you know, we met each other, and we were together a week later. We've been in love ever since. Now they're saying I'm not from Pittsburgh.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he'll help you, but I just showed my birth certificate. Well, there's Kathy. Am I from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or not?
Yes, you are.
And have you not heard me talk to my sister on the phone and my relatives?
Yes.
And you've met some of them, I think. I don't remember for sure.
Yes.
And you've seen the pictures of my relatives. And they all live back in Pittsburgh, or the ones on my father's side, and my mother's daughter and her children, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's Kathy. I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna finish this video and go feed Orangey. But Drone is putting all kinds of crap out on that certain board, which will remain nameless, and twisting the truth. So he can go to hell. All right, love you. Bye-bye. Anyway, that's my girlfriend. She knows I got relatives in Pittsburgh, and she knows I lived there. She's met them. They came all the way back east. So, from back east, before my mother died, to visit my mother. And I took them around a tour of San Francisco. You never seen the Golden Gate Bridge. You never seen Golden Gate Park. They took me to the California Academy of Sciences, which I've seen. I missed the live alligators. We kept open all the time. A kid would fall in. Because they had about 25 alligators. People would throw change in. And one time they had a kid jump in there. They got rid of the alligators. They put in a science exhibit. Bring back the alligators. Science exhibits are boring. You've seen one science exhibit about climate change. You've seen them all. Anyway. And I had those there. Of course, back then, when I was a kid, living in San Francisco, it was $3 to get in there. Now it's $25. That's because they're paying the director $850,000 a year salary. $3 take a lot of time to pay $850,000 off. He brought him from Boston or somewhere. So he don't live in Boston either. But I live in Pittsburgh, and I'm the guy from Pittsburgh. I can tell you where the comic book store was. I can show you where the Strand Theater was. First movie I remember seeing was Little Abner with Stella Stevens. That's about 1957. They turned that into a supermarket and drugstore. They found out at one point it had a bowling alley in the back of it. We lived in a little tiny apartment building over by the Seabreeze Company, which I can't find anymore. I guess they moved or got bought out or something. Their products are still out there for suntan, sunburn. They got witch hazel in one of them. Right behind the Pittsburgh Playhouse. Don't ever tell me I'm not from Pittsburgh. I used to go to Gimbel's and Kaufman's both. When Gimbel's was a British-owned store and was the big rival to Kaufman's. And that got taken over by Macy's. Go to the Oyster House. Go to Kennywood. Went along the south side and watched them make steel, where you could see the glow of the steel mills 24 hours a day. We'll go on the inclines. They used to have 2, now they got 1. And watch the river freeze over in the wintertime and flood during heavy storms. They fixed that with flood control. So when I say I'm the guy from Pittsburgh, I am the guy from Pittsburgh, and not adding an H to it. The city of Pittsburgh sued the federal government in about 1820 and won to keep the H in their name, to differentiate themselves from the other cities with the word Pittsburgh with a G in it. And they won it with the Supreme Court. I spent a lot of time in the Carnegie Library, the Arboretum, the Junior Museum, where they had raccoons and all kinds of fascinating animals, and you could pet some of them. And a lot of time at Forbes Field watching Mazeroski and Roberto Clemente. Bill Verdon, the first player I saw ever wear glasses. And Danny Murtaugh, coach of the 1960 Pittsburgh Pirates that beat the Yankees. The hated Yankees. The only guy I liked in the Yankees had a Mickey Mantle ball. But I hated the Yankees, and I hate the Dodgers, and I still hate both teams today. That's what you did. You were in Pittsburgh, you hated the Yankees, because they won every year. You're just getting sick of it. And the year I was born, it wasn't great to be a Pirates fan, because they lost 100 games that year. But you were still a fan of your Bucks, because you stood by your team just like I do today. The Bucks, the Panthers, the Penguins, and the Pirates. And the Steelers. Well, the Bucks and the Pirates are the same team. Don't ever say I'm not from Pittsburgh. I'll tell you something. After this Nori trip, I'm saving up. Pay my bills off. I'm going to go see my sister. Except I got to go when she's not sitting in her condo in Florida. That's where she is right now. I miss my family. I got 3 nieces and a nephew. And I got a grandnephew. And I love the grandnephew very much. So, I know Pittsburgh. I don't know a lot about what it is today. I do get Pittsburgh magazines. I go to Pittsburgh-oriented websites and I read about the great restaurants. And I listen to these Pittsburgh sports stations on Steeler Day. And I know KDKA, which used to have Bill Burns as their anchorman on their news shows. And the great Chilly Willie Cordelia, you could see in Night of the Living Dead. He was their horror host. And he's retired now. But he's been at Pittsburgh fan events, paranormal events, comic conventions. They got a lot of them in Pittsburgh. Big science fiction and comic fandom there. And big paranormal fandom, too. Lots of paranormal organizations in Pittsburgh. And if you looked at my Safari thing, you can see the paranormal organizations I got bookmarked. On the edge, there's tabs. They're all from Pittsburgh. Let me go look at this Safari. Hold on. Here you go. National UFO Reporting Center, 6 degrees of Mongol Air, Pittsburgh Truth or Dare, Pittsburgh Instrument. There's Iron City Gifts. Well, that's Iron City Beer, but so there's a whole bunch of Pittsburgh organizations I follow because that's my home. I got dragged out of here when I was 12. We lived in Coney Island Lake, New York at one point. My dad got drunk, burned down the hunting lodge we bought. We lived in a house in Pittsburgh, get drunk and burned down the damn house. So twice got burned out of our house. I was a little baby both times. Still wound up living in Pittsburgh. And 1968 to 70, or 66 to 68, I think it was. Let's see, I got out of Marina Junior High School in 65 or 66. We moved back to Pittsburgh for 2 years. Then we moved to Vegas. Then I moved back to San Francisco. But my heart and soul will always be with the Three Rivers City. I am the guy from Pittsburgh. So, low-flying idiot aircraft and the bitchy one, of which there are 2, you can go to hell. I hoped by the end of the year to be doing videos in front of the PNC Park with the statues of Roberta Clemente and Honus Wagner. And I used to pass the statue of Honus Wagner many a times in front of Forbes Field. And I'll go to the University of Pittsburgh Law School where they did, but there was an argument to try to get it actually put at PNC Park. In their lobby, as you walk through the door, they had a plate there. And there's still the infield wall with ivy and a reproduction of the archway into the ticket booth along the edge of that law school. And people like Mazeroski have shown up every year and they sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Because they miss Forbes Field. They know what it was like. even though by its end it was old and decrepit and decaying, and the Pirates needed a new field. People loved going there because it was a neighborhood park. You could walk to the park. You didn't have to drive. It's like 75 cents for a ball game. Not now where you're paying, $28 or $80 for football. I don't know what the hell a ticket to the Super Bowl runs. Probably $1,000 or something. And you knew everybody in the park. Everybody was from Pittsburgh, unless they came from Cincinnati or Cleveland or Philadelphia. But it was a family thing to do. And much like it was when I used to attend games at Griffith Stadium and DC Stadium in Washington, D.C. when we lived there. You went to support your team. My 3 teams will always be the 3 teams from Pittsburgh with an H. If you don't like it, you don't believe it, go to hell. All right. Have a good day. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.